Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
Yes, happy Sunday, everyone. A day when, if you are trying to build a world-dominating podcast, you put in a little extra. And there are two gents today that are putting in a little extra for this podcast. It is a very special day today for three main reasons. One, the Springboks have won the Rugby Championship. The world champions are now, more importantly, Southern Hemisphere champions as well. Those big boppers in green got it done 48-7 over the Los Pumas. They are the Los Pumas again. Secondly, the All Blacks, they've broken their Wellington hoodoo. Good on the Wallabies for helping their neighbours across the Tasman get over the Windy City hump. That was very nice of them. All Blacks victorious, 33-13. Finally, and probably the most important reason as to why today is such a special day, it is Matt Giddo's birthday.
Yay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Prof.
What are we today, Gord? 42?
Anything planned, Gits? What are you going to do?
Yeah, 42 today. We go to lunch, boozy, long lunch. I'm in Noosa at the moment, so where we're staying right on the beach. So I'm just going to sit there, have lots of drinks and watch the kids run around.
What a day. And Biv, your voice is a little raspy this morning, mate. Decent night out yesterday?
Yeah, I had a bit of a shift yesterday. It was I had a friend's 40th. It was a lunchtime and got home this morning. So, but I mean, it was only about 1 o'clock I got home. But it was a long shift. I was there with our mate Swoop. Swoop was there. He was in form, but he's not
really my mate on a Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to say he hasn't backed it up.
Yeah, Monday to Saturday, good mate. Sunday, no.
Hate him.
Now, it is your birthday, Goit. So it is dealer's choice. Which one would you like to go first? Would you like to go the Wallabies All Blacks or the Springboks Los Pumas?
Let's delay the Wallaby one as long as we can.
For the whole show or just...
No. We'll address it, but I reckon let's just start off nice and easy.
Let's not delay anything. Let's punch through this, guys. I need to get back to bed.
Yeah, hearing you. I'm hearing you, son.
Springboks 48, Los Pumas 7. Springboks back to full strength. The word I've got written here in capitals, Goit, is scrum. Is there ever been a better scrum ever?
I don't know. Like the first, especially against Argentina, where set piece has always been something they pride themselves on. That first scrum, a minute into it, and just looked like they had roller skates on, the Argentinian scrum. Like it's such a powerful weapon, and if they don't score off it, at least they get advantage, and then it allows the backs to actually throw something at the opposition. Like it's such a powerful weapon for them.
Well, it's also becomes like one of those things where it becomes like a bit of a mind game for them, right? Like, so for Argentina, you're like, shit, we don't want to go to a scrum, or you know, like it sort of starts to play into your head in terms of how you play as well. I think Oxenishé he's right up there. Like he's got to be in the conversation for the best in that position in the world, at the very least. But some of the impacts he's having in the game, maybe he's in the conversation for higher honours individually. He's very good.
That's the other thing too. You probably don't. Well, I certainly never give scrum too much credit. But when it is such a powerful tool that they've got at the moment, and it's making such a difference to actually how they play. And like Drew touched upon, if you're playing the Springboks, if I was playing, it's like if there's a knock on, just kick the ball on, play on, or just try and avoid any stoppages where you're having a scrum, because it's such a powerful weapon. But then off the back of that, I thought their forwards are so dominant and they're abrasive. They just love the collisions. Like there's no way to avoid it.
They just had them in a chokehold the whole game. Pumas finally about 19 minutes in, they got to throw the ball around. They managed to score that one try, but apart from that, it was just one-way traffic. Couple of highlights for me, these lineouts and the innovations that they're coming up with. I don't know if you gents saw this. It's about 3 minutes in, and obviously Springboks lineout, the jumper catches the ball and then just tosses it over his head to another jumper, who then have you seen that before? Who comes down and...
No, but I like them because also it gives... If you're setting up a game plan, like for me as a game driver, if there's a couple of tricky plays in there that almost get get downstairs a little hard, something that you're excited about calling. If you have a couple of those each test, and then you've got your bankers, which South Africa can always fall back to their maul, their scrum. But if you've got a couple of those players, it keeps everyone excited, especially when they come off and they work. So Russie is always creating something new. He's always ahead of the game. I think, is he up there for Coach of the Year as well? Who are the nominees? Are there nominees yet?
No nominees yet. I'm not too sure who's on the panel for Coach of the Year, but he'd have to be in the conversation, right? Because it's not just the outcomes that his team's being able to provide, but it's also the nature in which they're going about those games and those wins. But yeah, he's certainly innovating. I don't know. I don't know if there's ever been a coach spoken about as much as we speak about it, Russie. In a positive light.
No, but that's
in a positive light.
Exactly. But it's also he even their last try, Jesse Creel's last try, they put him, I think, took it to 48-7. And he's still in the box watching, trying. He goes, like it was the game-winning try, like the passion. Yeah. And he shows exactly his emotions, makes himself pretty vulnerable if they were to get beat, the way he puts himself out there. But I just like the way he, I don't know, he's adding something different, something exciting to rugby, where a lot of coaches generally don't want to give the other teams any ammo, whereas he's like, look, I respect the opposition, but this is me. I don't know. I love it. He makes you want to cheer for South Africa, even when you're Australian. That makes sense.
Have you ever come across a coach in international rugby where an entire crowd sings his theme song? Because in the 44th minute, they just started singing Razzie. I guess that chat about him being, Coach of the Year, who comes even close? Is there anybody in his stratosphere?
Well, I reckon, maybe not when you look at the actual accolades, but you look at the progression of other teams throughout the world. And Argentina, it's got to be said, even though it was 48-7, they kept competing, and the game was still a lot tighter and tougher than the scoreboard suggests, I reckon. They kept throwing it at them. Defensively, they kept aiming up. I just reckon when they got Pablo's red card, obviously, and then the intercept for the last 13 minutes where they were down to 13, I mean, that was game over. But I don't think they were ever going to win it, but they've made big steps forward as well under Felipe this year, I think.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, the first time they've beaten New Zealand away, Australia over there, and then South Africa, all three teams in the one Rugby Championship. So they're definitely making progressions, right? They're getting a lot better, and under Felipe Contempomi, off the back of what the guys before them had already done, they're just getting better and better. But I guess that's their growth, right? Is the consistency and making sure that when they're not quite at their best, they're still not far off.
Yeah.
Now, I love that last week on this on the match review, I said to you boys, is that the last time we'll see Money Lebok in a Springboks jersey? The answer is no. Razzie just starts him straight away, and he has a belter of a game. When you talk about innovation, these kicks off the side of his boot to Cheslin and just unbelievable stuff.
Well, they also took the pressure of goal kicking off him as well, which potentially you can see some guys, if they're not naturally a kicker, even when they're playing, they're just a bit hesitant, even it's not to do with the goal kicking. But when that responsibility is taken away from him, you're no longer having to kick. He's just sweet, and he just played, and you saw what he could do. He's a very talented player. Obviously, it's just sometimes the inconsistencies in his goal kicking can affect his game.
Well, and it seems this Hendrickson can kick.
Yeah,
he only missed the last couple, but he was striking them nicely.
Yeah, no, I think that probably also speaks to maybe why he got a start, right? Having a 9 that can kick. If they wanted Money Lebok to play 10, maybe that's also what got Hendrickson a start because of his ability to goal kick.
All right, well, what we'll do, I reckon, on the show on Monday that we'll put out on Tuesday, I was thinking this, boys, why don't we do a little sort of TRC ratings where you boys give each team a bit of almost how they went, health check out of 10, something like that. And I thought, and I'm just tossing this up to you boys now, what about we do a bit of a TRC 15 where I love getting the whiteboard out. You know that?
You do love a whiteboard.
Oh, let's do a whiteboard sesh.
Yeah.
Sure. Get you boys arguing, and you got to pick your 1 to 15.
Can we get someone with a bit better handwriting than Tommy?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Afford,
Okay,
we
sure.
pay Tommy peanuts now.
Right, okay.
We cannot afford anybody else.
Right, okay.
All right, well, let's do that. So, congrats to South Africa, TRC champions, world champions, just champions of the unit. Just an unbelievable side. And I think we all agree, just
And
amazing.
also, Eben Etzebeth going on and being the most capped Springbok of all time, out in front on his own. So, huge moment for him. And he's some player, isn't he?
He's unbelievable. Is he really old? Is he? Because I'm hoping that by the time.
I don't think so. I think he's
the
still got
World
another.
Cup-
I think he's got another World Cup in him for sure.
Okay. Right. It's just, where do they? They're just. It's a assembly line. They just keep
Yeah,
making
but
them.
you know what? Say Eben doesn't play anymore. There's going to be a new Eben or Peter Steph to tweet just around the corner. Like,
Yeah, just sitting there smashing a bri,
Why don't we
ready
do?
to play.
And I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way. I think we've got a lot of hometown talent. But one thought I had is we do what the English cricket team does, and we just go in and we take a bunch of South Africans. Do you think we could? No, bad idea.
Well, I mean, are you saying kidnap?
Well, that's what you
'Cause
boys
that's
in the
a bad
Wallabies get
idea.
up to. Worked for you boys in 2015.
I feel like maybe even
All
just,
right, let's
just
move
a
on.
breeding program, so we actually start, having some big South African kids over here.
So we send Drew over to breed. I see what's happening. I like it.
Breed
I
with
like this.
some big oak from Bloemfontein.
And well, you could work your way through the 15 different positions.
Yeah.
If we need a prop.
Sorry, well, after a second row, you're too short. Sorry.
I thought you were talking about the other positions. I'd work my way through.
Yeah, all that. Up to you.
Hang on, there's 15. One. I've got 2. I can only work out 2.
Just take over my little KOKO Sutra book.
Oh, mate, there's a money spinner, the KOKO Sutra. All right, Goit, are you ready to get onto the Wallabies, mate? You happy to go?
Yep. Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
Right. So, 33-13, Wallabies defeated in Wellington. Sam Cane, 100 caps. Amazing for him.
Yep.
Amazing. All Black got the standing ovations. He walked off. I think we all agreed. Very strong start for the Wallabies. Up to the 40th minute, we were leading 13-12. So good signs, Goit. But then I guess second half they ran away with it.
Was it 13-12 or it was 13 and then
Caleb Clark
scored.
on the striker half time, yeah.
To take it to 13, was it?
No. So that took it to 19-12 at half time.
Yeah, I thought we started really well. Yeah, no, I got you. Anyway, whatever it was close at half time. I thought we started really well. We were patient, and I reckon in the second half, it felt like we were up against it that first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, just camped in our half. And when we got an opportunity, we were just too quick, I think, to try and score. Well, it just seemed like we lacked a bit of patience there rather than in the first half. We were building phases, expecting it to be hard, which it always is, and we're grinding away to get our points and get our tries. So, yeah, I thought the first half was great. It wasn't ideal that Tanyela gets injured, I think, a minute in, and it looked like that he was suffering pretty much most of that game. Then, he couldn't offer a great deal. But I thought I was pretty impressed with Nick Frost. His first 40 minutes there, he was physical, he was mixing it, and it's not really an area or a position I follow closely. You're generally watching the backs and the forwards just toiling away. But I thought physically, defensively, he was putting his body on the line. He's making his presence felt. So I thought he did well. But again, the second half, it's just an arm wrestle. They just almost went to the Auckland Blues style once they get into the 22, pick and go, keep it tight, and just over. They were just probably too dominant and too physical with us there. We tried hard and we fought well as a group, but in the end, it kind of opened up a little bit for us there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that first half from firstly us, like to get what Giddy said, like we were building phases, putting sustained pressure on the All Blacks in the right area of the field, and then we got the pay from it. But the one thing the All Blacks are so good at is those minutes just before and just after half time, like They just, like it's so often they'll put a team away and sort of just break a little bit of the spirit by just scoring at that moment. Like we're very close to going into the sheds at halftime in front. All of a sudden, Caleb Clark runs an amazing line, short ball, and puts the All Blacks in front going into halftime. Also, just want to mention Wallace Satiti's footwork in the build up to Sevu Reese's try. Like it was just something really small. Like it was a little sort of like stop and go, like in the way a little bit, which then just put, I think it might have been Matty Fessler on his heels, but it attracted two other defenders. Like it had to get the attention because he'd beaten Fessler hands down. So then the other two had to come in, which then made the numbers on the outside, like more effective for the All Blacks. Because just for that little moment there, that footwork, like just created that opportunity. And obviously Satiti's known for his powerful running and some of the sort of the physical stuff he does, but that little subtlety is so underrated when you've got a big guy that can do that, because it basically created an overlap on the outside just by that amazing little footwork.
He's looking more and more comfortable in the test arena each week.
Yeah.
Like the first one, his first test against South Africa, I thought he was good, he was physical, but it didn't look like he was he didn't feel comfortable maybe applying his natural game. Then the next test against Australia, you could see him starting to do it. Then this one back at home in New Zealand, the footwork, he just seems confident taking the game on now, which he was doing at Super Rugby level. But it usually takes a while for you to find your feet at tests where you feel like you can have the same impact at the test arena as you do in Super Rugby. He's a phenomenal player. I think I picked him, didn't I? I picked him as the bolter.
Which episode was that, Goyd?
Super Rugby round. We need to go through it because I said Satiti and Drew had Satutu. Satutu.
Yeah.
All right. I'll get Tommy to go back through it.
You don't need to. You don't need to go through it, but it was me.
He sent me a note this morning. Not much on today, Prof. Would love to go back through the old eps. Find me something. So perfect.
Right.
And then Linnett Brown to put that. The ball that he threw off the back of that footwork to Sevu Reece at full pace.
Yeah.
To his left, just bang, hit him on the chest. Amazing stuff. Caleb Clark, is there anyone in the world that can tackle him? His second try where he run over four people, like it's just a game breaker when we're defending really well, and then he just breaks our heart. Like it's he's friend of the pod.
Yeah, he's a friend of the pod, but he's not friendly with the pod, if that makes sense. By the way he plays against the Wallabies, but he's another player. I think giving him consistency. He's staying on the wing and they're not getting moved around. You're starting to see what he can bring to the game. And I think with Beauden Barrett at 10, they seemed, I don't know, it seemed like their play was a little bit looser, a lot of offloads and change of direction, but they seemed to thrive off that style a little bit more than I think with DMAC. And then when DMAC came on off the bench, he looked like he was like pressure's off and he was just playing the ball, attacking the line, throwing offloads. Like he just seemed more comfortable.
Well, and it also, in some ways might go against him, right? Because it almost further enforces that he's just good off the bench. Like his impact was big, and of course he'd want to start and all the rest of it. But when they look good with Beauden at 10, like you say, the way that they're playing, and then DMAC comes off the bench and has impact. Like I don't know, it almost solidifies that maybe that's the right way to go for them.
It's not a bad thing. He could be the New Zealand Quagga, and I love Quagga, so I could love DMAC. Like easy.
Yeah.
Is Will Jordan, has he sewn up that 15 jersey, do you think?
Oh, yeah, even his try, it looked like the Wallabies were all there. He just, similar to Satiti, just that footwork, that change of angle at pace, and he's just a balanced runner. He moves well. He's like a young Drew Mitchell, the way he's strong through the hips. He's got nice footwork, but he just glides over the field. Yeah, I think they've got a lot of good choices at fullback. It just depends on the style of rugby that they want to play, because each week's been a little different how New Zealand have played. So I think once they find their identity as a group, then those players will almost make that team play that position, if that makes sense, or that style of rugby.
Very good. Now, I'm aware that that's your time. It is your birthday, Goit. We will get into that Wallabies. No. No. I'm assuming that there's a child that's about to bring you in breakfast in bed or something. I know how well trained your children are.
Yeah, they should be any time now.
we'll get into it more in the pod. So if you tune in on Tuesday, we'll get more into the Wallabies, talk through how Schmidt's gone this year. We'll do a bit of a, what would you call it, like a deep analysis, put it under the microscope.
A deep dive.
And just get right in there, real deep tissue. Couple of things I wanted to say. One, very quickly, gents, thanks for doing the Sundays. Thanks for your heavy lifting. These people really like these match reviews. They go really well for us. Hot off the presses. People love it. And so it's very good of you. I'd like to say no thanks to Swoop.
Yeah.
What a dog.
Yeah. Mate, it's actually affecting even the audience. There's people around here. I was at the pub accidentally yesterday, walked in there, and a guy came up that loves KOKO, and he was saying, "Where's Swoop's commitment?" I said, "No, I know." I said, "Don't worry about it. We're dealing with it. We're working through it, and we're still a happy family."
We are. We're very, very happy. The only thing I wanted to plug was the beers. I think there is now officially, it might be 6 days left that you can buy them.
Yeah.
So get onto our website, www.kickoffsandkickons.com. They're only available in Australia at the moment. It's a bit of a trial run this year. And then in the event they're bought by a lot of Aussies, then we'll start going international. Because we've got a lot of messages from South Africans
and
saying
Canadians.
We love beer. Yeah, well, Canadians have got a problem, I think.
Yeah, good problem.
A good problem.
Yeah.
Of course, a great problem to have. All right, gents, that is your Sunday. Well done. I will see you, I guess, in there tomorrow for the big show. Is that guest still lined up, Drew?
I believe so at this point, yeah.
Would you like to tease who it is?
Oh, it's Big Dell. It could go anywhere.
Big Delly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wendell Saylor. This will be an interesting one. Make sure you tune in for that. All right, that was the KOKO Match review. Give us one, Drew.
KOKO!
Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube. You know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.